Across the South Coast, live from Solent University. You're listening to Solent Sports News.
Good afternoon, it's 2 o'clock. I'm Alex Isaacs with your Solent Sports News headlines. In the last hour, England Test captain Ben Stokes has received an injection in his left knee ahead of the start of the IPL. The 31-year-old has struggled with the injury since the second test against New Zealand in February. England fans will be hoping he can make it through the competition injury-free before the Ashes begins in June. I'll now go over to Alex Worth, who's a cricket reporter.
Thank you, Alex. Thank you for having me. I think it's very, very worrying that he's already having injections before he's begun playing. We do know that his left knee has been bothering him. I remember in that second test against New Zealand, he almost couldn't walk towards the end of that test match, which again was really worrying, and we were worrying that he's going to be out for a long time. But it seems to be okay. But again, as I say, it's not great that he's already having an injection without playing. We know how influential he is, obviously being the Test match captain. We know how much he and Brendan McCullum have revolutionised white ball cricket in England. I mean, it's 10 Test match wins out of 12, which is just brilliant. And us England fans will just completely hold our breath and hope that he's going to be healthy for that really, really important Ashes series coming up.
Brilliant. Well, thank you, Alex. Cricket is finally back at the Ageas Bowl as Hampshire and Gloucestershire face off in a two-day friendly match. Hampshire posted 244 runs in their first innings, helped by a magnificent Ben Brown century. Gloucestershire are set to resume on 104 for 3 on day 2, with James Bracey unbeaten at the crease on 54. England's Lionesses have announced their 25-player squad for their upcoming friendlies in April. Manager Serena Weigman has handed recall to Hannah Hampton and Esme Morgan, whilst Lucy Parker has been handed her first cap. They will play Brazil in the Fina La Mesa at Wembley before facing Australia at Brentford's G-Tech Stadium. Police are investigating an incident where a former Southampton coach member was headbutted. Manager of Celtic women Fran Alonso was struck by Rangers coach Craig McPherson at full time. The women's Old Firm derby finished 1-1 after Caitlin Hayes scored a dramatic 99th minute equaliser for Celtic. We spoke to reporter Ethan Green about Alonso's history in Southampton.
Yeah, so Franz is actually a very respected coach in his field. He was with Southampton for a lot of the time during their good era where they were reaching the Europa League and stuff. He was connected with Koeman and Pochettino, and he was known as the main technical director at the club. From then on, he went to the women's head coaching job at Lewes FC, and he was very, very well known for all his stuff during then. And then he went to Celtic this year, and he's only lost 2 games this year, and he's proved that he's a very good coach at this level.
Last night, 2 Saints players starred in their respective European qualifiers. Here is reporter Baxter Wilson to tell us more.
Yeah, both players had really good games yesterday, but I'll start with Jan Bednarek as Poland won their game against a tough Albanian team. Bednarek kept a clean sheet in a 1-0 win and played very well, getting a 7.0 match rating, making 4 clearances and 2 tackles. Bazunu's squad unfortunately lost 1-0 against World Cup finalist France. Bazunu made 3 saves in the game but was unfortunately not able to stop a beautiful strike by France's Benjamin Pavard. With 14 other Saints players out on international duty, hopefully these performances will give them more confidence for when they go and return to Southampton.
Spurs have made contact with former Bayern Munich manager Julian Nagelsmann. It comes after Tottenham and Antonio Conte mutually parted ways on Sunday. Sky Germany reported that Nagelsmann was sacked by the Bundesliga leaders on Saturday. Reporter Jamie Hale took to the streets of Southampton to get the public's thoughts on Nagelsmann.
So what do you think about the whole idea of Nagelsmann?
I think he's a fraud. I don't think anyone will help Spurs, mate.
Bit strange that he's been sacked. I had something went on with his wife, so hopefully he doesn't bring that negative energy to Tottenham too. But
I feel like he'd do a decent job. He'd get them solid Europa League every year.
After this year's Rugby World Cup, Scotland fullback Stuart Hogg is set to retire from all formats of rugby. The 30-year-old has 100 international caps and is the country's top try scorer with 27 tries. The former captain would draw the curtain on his glistening career. Rugby commentator Alfred Reynolds was surprised by the announcements.
Look at the career he's had. and ever present for Scotland. He's won stuff domestically, particularly with Exeter, and since he's been playing his rugby in England, he has been absolutely sensational. And this, as I mentioned in the intro, came out of left field for me.
Finally, Conor Benn versus Chris Eubank Jr. has been rescheduled. Ben had to pull out of their last fight after he failed a drugs test. After the fight was cancelled, Eubank Jr. fought Liam Smith, which ended in the 4th round due to a stoppage. The sons of 2 boxing legends will fight on the 3rd of June in Abu Dhabi, and it'll be one that the fans have been waiting for a while now. William Hill have been hit with a £19.2 million fine by the UK gambling regulator. This is the biggest punishment in history for a betting company. The charges have been issued for widespread and alarming social responsibility and anti-money laundering failures. It's not the first time the company have been handed a sanction though, as in 2018 they were given a £6.3 million fine for similar issues. That's all from us for now. We'll be back at 3:30 for more sports stories.